Happy middle grade March. I want to share with you the books that I plan to read this month. We're going to go along by the different prompts, and I have 3 books for each prompts. We'll see if I read them all. I don't know. Why do you make a TBR? So that you maybe read some of them. I don't ever read all of them. I don't know. I get distracted, and then I read other books. So come back, and I'm going to do a middle grade March wrap up and tell you what I thought of the books that I did read, and then the rest of them will still hang out on my TBR because I want to read all the books eventually, right? Okay, so for a name in the title, one that I really want to read is Cream Between. This has been on my to-be read for a long time. I interviewed the author about one of her other books recently, and I was like, okay, I'm going to read Cream Between. It fits this prompt. I really want to listen to it. It's about this Syrian boy, and he is just feeling like he doesn't fit in as an American. Where is he? Is he an American? Is he Syrian? It's a novel in verse, and I really like her writing style, so I'm excited to read this book. Next, Nadia Islam on Record. So it's about this girl who's so excited to celebrate her first Ramadan with her friend, but then her family's going to Bangladesh, so she doesn't get to do this with her friend, but she experiences a lot of great things in Bangladesh, and she's learning a lot about the country, and she finds new things that she's able to do for her life back home, like writing when she learns about climate crisis there, and it sounds like a great story, and I have it on audio, and I can't wait to listen to it. All right, the next one, like I said, I leave books on my to-be read for a long time. So this is one that was on there last year. It's called Grady Jones and the Great Detective Game. And so it's about this boy. It just sounds so much fun. It sounds like there's a lot of humor in the book. So the boy has been wanting to make a name for himself, right? And so a note shows up that he is supposed to solve this really eccentric millionaire's death. And so he's going on this murder mystery, and he's like, oh wait, I'm not really observant. I'm not really going to be good at this. So he involves his friends, and it just sounds like it's going to be just a fun, silliest book. I heard it compared to The Glass Onion, which I really enjoyed a couple of those movies, so it should just be fun. The next prompt is one that has a book on the cover. So the first one that I wanted to do is A Moon Without Stars, and I already have it sitting there in my Libby on audio, so I can't wait to listen to it. It's about a girl who is, she's happy in what she has with her life, and then she ends up that something happens that she's in with the popular crowd all of a sudden. And so is she going to give up everything that she has being popular, but what is most important? And is she going to get back to that writing and those friendships that she had before, or would she rather stick with this new popular experience that she is now experiencing? The Library of Unruly Treasures. Okay, I love to go into a book as blind as possible, and I saw that a lot of people were loving this book last year, so I was going to read it, and then to be able to tell you guys what it's about, I went and was reading the synopsis, and I was like, huh! So it's about a girl who feels like she doesn't have any place with her family, and so it works out just fine when she's sent to stay with her uncle for a couple weeks. And this funny dog Pumpkin, who she ends up just spending a lot of time with, and when she goes to the library, there are these, I forgot how to say it, Lotikins? Anyways, these like mystical flying bird creature things that only the littlest kids at story time and she can see, and they have a mission for her, and so it just sounds silly and fun, and I can't wait to read it. I have been meaning to read an Ellie Schwartz book for a long time. So Same Page is the one that I picked for this month because it does have books on the cover. It's a lot about books because this girl, she has her heart set on being the class president, and her new friend June is going to be her vice president, and things are going to be great. And one of the things they're going to do, they're going to have a book vending machine, and it's going to be fantastic. But then they discover some of the books they want to put in are really being questioned, and people want to pull those books and not have them available, and they're like, oh, you can't ban these books. But then it turns out that one of the main people behind this is June's mom, and so can she even be friends with somebody who she has such a big difference of opinion with, and just takes a big turn and just sounds so fantastic. Can't wait to read it. And so I didn't pick just 3 for historical fiction. I picked like 6, so I'm having a hard time lowering this down. And I know I want to read Scattergood because another author told me about it, and I don't remember what it's about, so sorry, I forgot to look that one up. Let's see, which ones did I do it look up? Oh, The Blackbird Girls. So after Chernobyl, this nuclear reactor explodes and the sky turns red, these girls have to go away on this train, and they are currently enemies. And so they find themselves going on this train to stay with one of their grandmothers, and can they develop a friendship, right? And so it's told by alternating perspectives from both of these girls, but also jump back in time to World War II. There's another perspective, and I thought it was going to be about the grandma that they go to stay with, but it's a different name. So I'm interested to find out who this third perspective is that we're learning about during World War II. And it just sounds really fantastic. Historical fiction is just one of my very favorite genres, so I can't wait to read this one. I'm reading Penny from Heaven for a virtual book club that I'm in about, they take different Newbery Honor and Newbery Award winners, and that's all they read in this book club. And so it's middle grade groupies. If you want to look into it, it's on Instagram. And so they're doing Penny from Heaven this month, and I was like, oh, perfect. So it does have historical fiction, and it's about the author has, family that are Italian Americans, and after World War II, the Italian Americans are having a hard time because of prejudices against them. And then the girl thinks it's going to be a great summer, but then her mom's like, oh no, you can't go swimming in the pool because you might catch polio. And then also her dog is sick and her uncle's living out of a car. And there's just so much that's going on wrong in her life. And it's a struggle. And it just sounds really fantastic. And I don't know if I've ever read a book by this author, but I've heard so much about her, so I'm excited to read this one. And then the other historical fiction that I really hope I get to this month, if my turn in Libby comes up, is Jennifer Nelson's latest, just barely came out, Magnitude. It's about a girl during the San Francisco earthquake of, I think, 1906, and her life, she thinks it's going to be a crappy day anyways because everything's always crappy, but then it turns out that it's even worse than she expected because there's this big earthquake. Prompt 4 is Siblings, and again, a book that I've been really meaning to read because Adriana Cuevas, another author, recommended this to me, and she just says how fantastic it is just from the first chapter. And so it's about this boy. It's called Skeleton Flute. Did I say that? Yep. It's called Skeleton Flute, and this boy is given this flute, and so he's like, ooh, I can make a wish on this, and he just found out that his parents are going to get a divorce, so he wishes that they don't. And they don't. It works great, right? But then there are consequences, and so how can he overcome these consequences? Can he find the man who gave him the skeleton flute? It really sounds fantastic. Would also work for prompt 5 for a BIPOC author. Next one, Wild Robot Escapes. So I really had a lot of fun reading Wild Robot #1 with my kids, about the robot that lives on an island and makes friendships and interacts with animals. So it's a sibling relationship now. So the Wild Robot is in a new setting with these kids, and I don't know a lot besides that, but I love the first book, so let's do it. Okay, so then Reach just recently came out as well, and it's about this boy who now he has a stepbrother. And so this is a fun sibling relationship kind of book because he doesn't want this relationship with his stepbrother. He meets a magical tree and he develops a relationship with this tree, and he's given the opportunity to have his stepbrother turn into a tree for a little while. And so that sounds great because stepbrother's annoying. But then he discovers he can't get the brother back to being a normal kid, and nobody remembers the stepbrother, and he has to really work on figuring out what's going on with this tree that made this happen, and just sounds really magical and fantastic family relationships. BIPOC Authors is the last prompt, and Will's Race from Home came out last year, and it's about a boy who his family, it's not too long after the Emancipation Proclamation, but they have to work somebody else's land. And so they find out this opportunity with this land rush, and they're going to race and try to get there in time so they can make a claim on this land and have it be their own land. But there's so much going on with other people trying to get there first, and bandits, and unique relationships with new characters brought in, and the family relationship is quite interesting as well. And so it sounds really fantastic. I got started on it at the end of last year, and I only got through about a chapter before I got distracted with other family stuff. I think it was December, so there's so much going on. So I'm really excited to get back into this and get through the whole thing this time. So then we have Sharon G. Flake. I've heard a lot of books by her, so this will be my first time to read one. This one's called Hattie Mae Begins Again. And so this girl from the South is going up to a elite school, and she's got to find her place in there, and it's really hard, fitting in and everything. And it really sounds like a fantastic one, and it can also work for historical fiction because of the migration going up to Philly. And just like I said, it's the author that I really wanted to read because I've heard so many good things about Sharon G. Flake. So then the last one, a BIPOC author, I've been really excited because I've really enjoyed books by Shakira Bourne. And so this one's called Here Lies a Ghost. So again, we've got a boy going to a elite school, And he is, you know, invited to join these, I think they're called the turbojets. Yeah, they're the turbojets. And then doing the hazing ritual, he ends up like he's dared to go inside this crypt that the most awful enslaved owner ever, you know, that's his family crypt. And so he goes in there and then they trap him in there. And so he has this awful experience with that. When he gets out, somebody else got out with him. And so this ghost is trying to figure out how she died, why she died, and it just sounds fantastic. I love spooky middle grade, so this is one book that I'm really excited to read. So tell me in the comments below, what are you reading for middle grade March? And do you participate in middle grade March? If not, you definitely need to check it out because middle grade really is for everyone. If you have not, subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, and come back and keep getting more great book recommendations for the kids in your life. Bye.